So here in this diagram you can see that is the shape of the papillae. So in the first diagram here it consists of the papillae, that is the filiform papillae. So that is the shape of the filiform papillae. Then in the next diagram, that is the fungiform papillae. So these are, and it consists of, that is the small taste buds. And in the third figure, that is the vallet papillae. So here, and consists of, that is the small duct, this one. And here, that is the sulcus is present between that the papillae. After then, let's see, that is the muscles of tongue. So a midline fibrous septum, this one, it divides the tongue into right and the left halves, and it half consists of the 4 intrinsic muscle and the 4 extrinsic muscle. So intrinsic muscle, they are present within that the tongue, and there is no any peripheral attachment. And the extrinsic muscle, they have the peripheral attachments, means that shows the origin or insertion into the peripheral side of the tongue. So the intrinsic muscle are the 4 are the superior longitudinal. Here you can see the superior longitudinal, inferior longitudinal, then the vertical and the transverse. So these are the 4 intrinsic muscles are present. And the extrinsic muscles, they are the genioglossus. Here you can see this one, the genioglossus, then the second one, the hyoglossus, then the styloglossus, and the palatoglossus. So these are the muscles, 4 muscles which is present in the tongue. This intrinsic muscle, it gives the shape of the tongue, where the extrinsic muscle moves the tongue into that the different direction. So these are the extrinsic muscle, that is the genioglossus, C1, then the hyoglossus, this one, then the styloglossus, and the palatoglossus. So the genioglossus muscle, it is originate from the superior genial tubercle, and it is inserted the whole of the tongue and the hyoid bone. So here, this is the hyoid bone, this is the palate. So that the muscle, it should be inserted to that the tongue and the hyoid bone. Then the action of this muscle, that is protrudes the tongue. Then second one, that is the hyoglossus. So hyoglossus, it is originate from the greater cornua and the part of the body of the hyoid bone. Then it is inserted the side of the tongue between the styloglossus laterally and inferior longitudinal muscles medially. The function of this hyoglossus muscle, that is depresses the side of the tongue and they make the dorsal surface convex. Then the styloglossus, so this one, so it is originate from the tip of the styloid process and inserted the side of the tongue throughout the whole length. Then the function is draws the side of the tongue upwards and the backward. Then the palatoglossus, so origin from the oral surface of the palate and inserted to the side of the tongue. Then function is to pulse the root of the tongue. So these are the 4 extrinsic muscle of the tongue. Then let's see, that is the different function which is done, or the movement of the tongue which is done by this muscle. So here you can see, that is the protrusion of the tongue. So this one, that should be occurs by the genioglossus muscle. Then the retraction, means tongue goes backward, so it should be occurs by the styloglossus muscle. Then the depression, so tongue should be depresses, so it should be occurs by the hyoglossus muscle. And the elevation of the tongue, so it should be occurs the palatoglossus muscle. And the changes the shape, this changes the shape of the muscle, so that should be occurs by the intrinsic muscle. Arterial supply of the tongue. So tongue is mostly supplied by the branches of the external carotid artery. So here that is the common carotid, this is the branch of external carotid, and this is the internal carotid. So that is the branch of the external carotid artery, that is the lingual artery. So this one, it is the chief artery which supply to the different part of the tongue. So first, that is the deep lingual artery. So this one, it is supply to the anterior part. So this one, deep lingual artery. And second one, that is the dorsal lingual artery, which is supply to that the posterior part of the tongue. Then the third one, that is the tonsillar branch of, this is the facial artery. So facial artery, that is also the branch of the external carotid artery. Then ascending pharyngeal arch. So here, or the ascending pharyngeal artery. So that is also the branch of the external carotid artery, which is supply to the posterior part of the tongue. The venous drainage of the tongue. First, that is the deep lingual vein. So these are the principal vein of the tongue, and it is visible on the inferior surface of the tongue near to that the median plane, both on the lateral side through the thin mucous membrane. Then second one, that is venicomitant. So it is accompanying a lingual artery course. So they are joined to the dorsal lingual vein, and these veins unite at the posterior border of the hyoglossus to form the lingual vein, which drains into either a common facial vein or the internal jugular vein. After then, that is the lymphatic drainage. So the lymphatic drainage of the tongue. So the tip of tongue here, that should be drains bilaterally into that the submental lymph nodes. So here, then the right and the left hulls, remaining part of the anterior 2/3 of the tongue, that is drain unilaterally into the submandibular lymph nodes. So this one. Then next to it, the posterior 1/3 part of the tongue, that drain bilaterally into that the jugulo-omohyoid lymph nodes. So this one. So since most of the lymph from the tongue ultimately drain into that the jugulo-omohyoid lymph node, and these called as the nodes of the lymph nodes of the tongue. So that is the lymphatic drainage. The nerve supply of the tongue. First, that is the motor nerves. So all the extrinsic and the intrinsic muscles of the tongue, except that is, this is the palatoglossus. It is supplied by the hypoglossal nerve, except that is the palatoglossus, and this palatoglossus, that is supplied by the accessory nerve throughout the pharyngeal plexus. Then the sensory nerve, most of that is the lingual nerve. It is help for the general sensation, and the chorda tympani, it is the nerve of the taste for the anterior 2/3 of the tongue. So in the another diagram here you can see that is the chorda tympani, and it should be forming, that is the taste for the anterior 2/3 of the tongue. Then the glossopharyngeal nerve, this one, it is the nerve of both general sensation and the taste for the posterior 1/3 of the tongue. So here in this diagram you can see that is the glossopharyngeal nerve, that is help for the taste of the posterior 1/3 of the tongue. So this one. Then the clinical anatomy or the applied related with that the tongue. So the first clinical point related with the tongue, that is injury to that the hypoglossal nerve, produces the paralysis of the muscles of the tongue on the side of the lesion. So tongue, that should be turned on the lesion side. Then next to it, that is the glossite. So the glossite is, it is usually a part of the generalized ulceration of the mouth cavity, that is called in general language the stomatitis. Then next part or the next clinical point, the under surface of the tongue, it is a good sign for the observation of the jaundice. Then next to it, in unconscious patient, the tongue may be fall back and obstruct the air passage. This can be prevented either by laying patient on the one side with his head down position. Next to it, that is the coating or the furring of the tongue bears no relation to the digestive disturbance as generally thought, but it is usually occurs due to the smoking, respiratory tract infection, fever or the oral infection. The next clinical point, that is the tongue tie. If that is the frenulum, here centrally on the inferior surface you see that is the frenulum. So if the frenulum extends too far towards the tip of the tongue, so it is called the tongue tie. So because of this, it inhibits the normal movement of the tongue and may interfere with the normal speech. So this can be corrected by cutting the frenulum surgically. So certain drugs which are lipid soluble can diffuse through the thin mucous membrane lining of the sublingual region of the oral cavity and can be quickly absorbed into the circulation. The example, that is the nitroglycerin or the sorbitrate tablet, which is act as a vasodilator and used in case of the angina pectoris. So within 1 minute that the drug, it should be dissolved in the mucosa and absorbed through that the lingual vein and suddenly gets into that the systemic circulation and dilates the coronary vessels. In the carcinoma of the tongue, it is the common site of the carcinoma and mostly involves in the anterolateral margin of the tongue. So common involvement site, that is the anterior 2/3 of the tongue, that is more than the 64% is occurs, posterior 1/3, that is 20% occur, and posterior most, that is the faciolingual part, only the 6% the carcinoma is happen into this region. Then the safety muscle of the tongue, that is the genioglossus. So this one, it is called the safety muscle of the tongue because that is the two genioglossus muscle form the bulk of the tongue and are responsible to protrusion of the tongue. So if that muscles are paralyzed, the tongue will be fall back into that the oropharynx and obstruct the air passage, causing the choking and the death. So that is, in this condition, the tongue is pulled forwards to clear that the air pathways. Then next to it, that is the genioglossus are commonly used as a clinical testing of the hypoglossal nerve. The muscle of the both side acting together protrude the tongue, whereas the single muscle deviate the tongue on the opposite side. So therefore, when patient is asked to protrude his tongue, the tongue deviates on the paralyzed side. So that should be shows the side of the lesion of the hypoglossal nerve. So the refer pain of the cancer of the tongue. So the patient with the cancer of tongue often complain of the pain in the ear, temporomandibular joint, temporal fossa and the lower teeth, and this is due to the refer pain. And it is important to note that the pain is frequently referred from one branch of the mandibular nerve to that the other. And you know, carcinoma commonly involves in the anterior 2/3 part of the tongue. So thus, if the sensation carried from the anterior 2/3 of the tongue by the lingual nerve are referred to auriculotemporal nerve, and patient feels the pain in the ear, temporomandibular joint and the temporal fossa. On other hand, if the pain from the lingual nerve is referred to the anterior alveolar nerve, so the pain is felt in the lower teeth. So these are some clinical points related with the